All right, I think we are live. Well, welcome everybody to our webinar on From Frustration to Future Ready, how growing distributors can get control of their data and their time. So if we just want to pop into the agenda here, Jen, I'll walk us through it and then introduce myself and then hand it over to you, Jen. So my name is Clayton Jones. I'm an account executive here at Bond Consulting. We're a Microsoft Gold partner focused on the distribution and manufacturing industry, kind of helping organizations who are on legacy ERP systems or QuickBooks move to a more robust ERP system like Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Agenda for today, and just as a high level, right? A lot of this is going to be about this yellow text here, right? Getting visibility, control, and time back in your day. So first point, the real symptoms distribution teams face. Next, we're going to go into why systems break when you grow. That's a big important one we see almost every day with a lot of our prospective clients. And then what connected operations look like and a low risk path to modernizing without a very large project. So Jen, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and take over from here.
Thank you, Clayton. I am Jennifer Ryan. I am a former corporate accountant turned ERP consultant. I've been doing ERP consulting for some time, and I've supported well over 100 companies over various industries. So I have a bit of experience in this arena of migrations and such. So what we're going to go through here is kind of what things to consider if you're thinking about changing your ERP. Whoops. So as companies grow, they experience a lot of different things, and some of it you have change, the company needs to change, the organization needs change, but people are very resistant to change. So that's a big part of the issue. So as you grow or you have company turnover, employee turnover, a lot of tasks get lost in the mix. People come up with their own procedures that don't really fit what needs to happen. Staff can get siloed and they're not communicating well. And of course, there are also technology changes that come up. I can speak to some of the things that I've dealt with before. For instance, I had a manufacturing client. They actually attached something to fabric, and they wanted to be more competitive. They wanted to give more competitive quotes to their clients. And so they purchased their vendor and they started doing that manufacturing on their own. Unfortunately, they took on this new procedure or this new process, but they never changed their internal process. So when they were coming up with their quotes, what we found was that they were still giving quotes based on an old Excel spreadsheet that they had come up with, and that they were giving quotes based that had a basis of the vendor's profit margin as well. So they weren't realizing the competitive advantage they had by doing that work internally. So sometimes as companies change, the organic processes, they change their processes organically, and it can sometimes lead to inefficient processes. I also had a client that had, and this is actually pretty recent, I had a client that had just a very complex Excel report they had, and it was probably felt like a bit of a work of art for them because they had come up with a lot of solutions to deal with things that actually a system could have dealt with for them, and we fit those into a system so that they didn't have to keep track of how to allocate sales to their customers in a spreadsheet, or how to figure out what they needed to plan for So because of a lack of continuity and training, just a lot of processes get mixed up and they lose efficiency. Another thing that I find is a lot of clients or a lot of companies have not implemented their fixed assets inside of a system, even though they may have a system that does the fixed assets. So it really makes sense to bring that in and do it in the system. Even if you don't think you need it, you can use it for counting your fixed assets or keeping track of where things are. So there are some things that you can do that people don't even really take advantage of the systems that they have. So if you're not scaling with growth, I mean, maybe you need to add a warehouse or you need to hire more people. There's a lot of things that you can consider as you go through this. One thing might be the separation of duties as you get larger, and a lot of companies have a hard time with this. That as they get larger, they need to start separating the duties into a way that they can keep track of the things that are going on and separate things that can cause fraud. It helps prevent fraud. Also, separating the work duties keep people in line for their workflow. So if one person depends on another person, they can keep up with each other and say, hey, why haven't you gotten that work done yet? So it keeps the processes going. You don't have any one person that's dependent. You're not dependent on any one person to take care of an entire process, and it keeps things moving forward. And like I said, for fraud, separation of duties is a really important feature. If you have enough employees to separate these duties, you can separate the vendor creation from the PO creation and the payment generation, and that makes it less likely that somebody would set up a PO and an invoice and ship and pay for it. So it's an important feature. People could spend more time looking at that. And inventories become unmanageable. Also, when they kind of grow organically, things are coming in and people are coming up with solutions for problems that they have, but they're not really, because they're siloed, they're not really communicating with others. And they may not be thinking about all the downstream effects of how they set their processes up. And one example that we have, this is again pretty recent. We had a client that had a really large inventory. We were able to reduce their inventory by 87% by reducing or by using units of measure conversions and variance. And what we did with that is we improved their inventory and warehouse maintenance, the sales reporting, and the demand planning. Another one that we dealt with was a client that was kind of doing free form invoicing because they didn't think they needed items. They were just selling services. And when we set them up with service type items, they were able to create their invoices in a better fashion. It was more efficient, and they were able to then do reporting on the sales that they had made because they had those items set up. Another thing that we do often with companies as they grow, companies either kind of in a lot of different ways, they pick up a new entity. And we do quite a few clients that have multiple entities. And as they pull these new entities into their sphere, a lot of times they don't really kind of integrate them properly with the other companies in the organization. And we have products that allow us to do that. We have procedures that allow us to do that. So that can be really, for one client that I have, he was maintaining his foreign current companies on Excel and doing his consolidations in Excel. So that was not the most efficient way. So we got him into Business Central, and we set him up with all three companies in Business Central. So some of the advantages that we have from connected systems, you have one truth, you have really real-time data coming up from all the different functional areas of your business. And you can also integrate with other Microsoft tools that has a whole environment where Business Central can talk to Outlook and can talk to Excel. The Excel features in Business Central are really terrific. And we can have automated workflows and just everybody working from the same system. And actually, the whole system is integrated, of course, so it all operates the same. Everybody's having the same experience. This also makes your reporting better because your reports get updated real time, and you can pull your financials at any time and get your data. One thing that's really great with especially cloud, and probably, we don't know that we saw it coming, but now that we have so many people working remote, the cloud is a great solution because people can work with the same system from anywhere in the world. And it also gives you access to a larger talent pool of employees. If you need to hire, you don't have to hire somebody that's down the street. You can hire somebody that's in another part of your state or the country. And also our workflow approvals can work from anywhere. And you can also use your phone app or your Outlook app to update workflows and get reporting as well. And the salespeople can use the phone or Outlook to initiate sales documents, or to check in on sales documents. And I'll tell you, the reduction of the time spent on server management is really huge. You don't have people having to go in and fix data that didn't get updated properly. You don't have any, so your data integrity is much better. You have automatic backups, and you're not nobody finds out 3 months after the backup stopped running that the backup stopped running. And you have automated application upgrades, so you're not having to stop everything and start up a process or a project to do an upgrade to a new version. And there's no complex portals to set everybody up to get access to the portal, to the data. I think this is your turn, Clayton.
All right. Thanks for that, Jen. That's awesome. If you want to jump to the next slide.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So kind of tying all that together, right? What this actually looks like for a customer of ours who was on QuickBooks and experienced a lot of the challenges that Jen just kind of laid out there. So Miron Violetglass, they're a global manufacturer and distributor of violet glass packaging, kind of very specialist packaging solutions, right? They're serving industries in the cosmetics, kind of natural health and wellness, food and supplements as well. They're very recognized, right, for their commitment to sustainability, product quality, and long-term customer relationships. They operate internationally with production in Europe and operations in the US. So Miron was importing from Europe and managing everything in QuickBooks. After moving to Business Central, they gained the visibility and control to expand to a second warehouse and grow 40% without the chaos of additional hiring sprees. Beyond system improvements, we have supported Miron through their business expansion, including establishment of a new entity, ensuring their ERP platform scaled seamlessly with growth by guiding their team in refining processes, enhancing cross-system integrations, and aligning operations across the regions and time zones. We've helped position them for continued success as they continue to scale. So just a couple of points here, right? Before, one warehouse, a lot of manual and disconnected systems and processes. And it was a struggle for folks to go in and get inventory and margin data. So after we kind of expanded to two warehouses, right, one on the East Coast, gave them real-time dashboards and automated workflows to alleviate some of that pain, and we're able to achieve 40% growth for their business without adding a significant overhead in employees. So feel free to scan that QR code to learn more about the full case study there. Would love to have anybody read that. And Jen, I think we're back to you.
Thank you, Clayton. So I just have a couple more things to talk about before we're done here. We wanted to talk a little bit about what holds organizations up from moving forward. Why don't they update their ERP? The feeling that they're too small for an ERP, nobody is. It's the ERPs are the Business Central is a very reasonable product, even in its smallest form. And it does all the gap reporting and all the gap functionality that you need. It's all gap applied. So you'll know that you're getting good data. So one thing that you might want to do when you're thinking about changing your system is you get a chance to, this is a great opportunity to redefine your processes, to find processes that are not efficient or not actually working to your benefit, and change them up very often. So when you do your new implementation, you would want to start out with your existing processes and save the most complex new processes maybe for another phase. That means that you can get it done quickly. You can take a slower route and do it all at the same time, or you can move forward and get into the new system and Business Central and doing what you're doing now, and come back later and put in another phase. One thing that I like to say is companies are always special, but unique is expensive. So try to find the places where you think you're unique, and then try to change your system to change your procedures to fit the system. It's going to be a lot less expensive to try to be unique, but sometimes customization is required, and that happens. So it's not that we don't want to do it, but we want to try to fit into the system as much as possible, because it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be more efficient. And I've had clients that insist on doing extensive and complex customizations rather than just simply retraining their staff. And literally sometimes that's all they're trying to save, is they don't want to retrain your staff. Retrain your staff. So basically, we want to reduce the customizations that we're doing as much as possible, consider adjusting your processes to work within the system. And there are ISV solutions also that deal with specific functionality that you may like. And another thing that's really nice about doing a big system change is the opportunity to clean up and redefine your processes. You don't have to move everything over. You can, we do most of our migrated data is going to be in summary, and we're not going to bring in usually a ton of history. So it's an opportunity to kind of clean up everything and start fresh. And so the way a new implementation would take place is, again, like I said, it's an opportunity to review and redefine your processes, your requirements, and your procedures. I have a lot of clients that reorganize their chart of accounts and change up their entire chart of accounts when they're going into a new system. It gives them a chance to rethink the way they report. They can explore automated options. You can explore automated options like AP automation that can make the AP position a lot quicker and more efficient. And again, streamlining for efficiency, and make sure that you're working between working for the maximum effectiveness. And our migration phases normally cover, similar to this, we have requirements gathering where we go through and discuss the current procedures and pain points that you have. And then we go into development and design where we discuss the migration, the data migration, and we bring in your data and we redefine your processes and we fit your processes in with Business Central. And again, if your procedures don't work in there, we can find other ways to deal with things. And then we go into deployment and go live. We do user acceptance testing, and we have processes that really streamline this whole process. And then you go into operations, and that means, you know, ongoing operations, and you're ready to go. And then you can come back later and add additional functionality or capabilities, or you know, a lot of times people are in a system, and this, for instance, I have a lot of clients in Business Central. They don't use all the functionality that's available in there. It may be a good time to come back and maybe start up some of the functionality that they have available to them that they're not using. And I think that's it for me, Clayton.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, great points there. So just to close us out here, ahead of our Q&A, I just wanted to point out a couple of things. So just ready to see what's possible for you. We're going to send this deck out, so you're going to have an idea of kind of what we talked about here and can reference back to that. Feel free to scan this QR code to get that Miron case study and look at some of our other resources that we offer. Another thing just to call out here, we're having another webinar focused on the Microsoft 365 Copilot offering on December 4th. This is something you might have heard a little bit about, or maybe a lot about, over the past year or so, but this is Microsoft's kind of agentic AI solution, and there's a lot of cool things that how this works with Business Central, but also outside of Business Central with other Microsoft apps. So that'll be a good one for folks to attend. And yeah, if any of these points that, you know, Jen has walked through are kind of speaking to you, and you're kind of realizing on this call that maybe you know, we're struggling a little bit with how we're operating our business, but things are going well overall from a growth perspective. But maybe we can look at ways to make things more efficient. Let's just jump on a call. I'm happy to bring in the right folks on our side to walk through your business, understand your current challenges, understand what your goals are, and then tailor a solution to you. So with that, we're going to move into Q&A. If anybody has anything, feel free to ping them in the chat. And let me just check chat to see if there is any questions right now. All right. So what usually holds distributors back the longest? Budget, timing, or internal alignment? That's like a loaded question, but you know, it's many things, right? It's whenever it comes into, hey, we're on disconnected systems, or we're having some key inconsistencies within our business from like a reporting perspective or data visibility perspective. There's things around that are kind of trigger points to get you an idea of what you need to do to move forward, right? So we want to look at those, understand like where the hiccups are, and align those to how Business Central would work. So that'd be one thing I'd look at, right? Overall budget or timing or any internal alignment, just what's holding you back as far as a business goes. Now, budget, of course, is something that a lot of folks, especially under like the $20 million revenue year range, you know, tend to think ERP may be too expensive or too costly of an initiative for them to take over. So we've actually developed a quick start option. It's a 12 to 16 week implementation of Business Central, really taking you out of your legacy system, putting you into a core Business Central application. And this gives you an opportunity to build a foundation for ERP and then continue to expand on it with phase 2 initiatives. So I wouldn't necessarily say budget would ever really be something that you need to disqualify this conversation for. We're happy to work with you and tailor a solution that's going to make sense.
I can speak to the timing thing too. A lot of lot of clients, you usually want to start at the beginning of a month or a quarter. And a lot of clients, it would be good to find the part of the year that is not your busiest part of the year, maybe your slow time. That's a good time to start. And a lot of clients like to start up, and especially when we get close to the end of the year like this, they like to start out on the new year. So that's pretty common as well. We're kind of running past that window at this point, but but it is a possibility.
Time is flying, that's for sure, as we
Yes,
knock on the door of Thanksgiving and Christmas soon after.
yes.
But yeah, and then just another point that kind of popped up in my head there is if you have like an audit season or something like that, typically getting it done before or after audit is what we see a lot of our clients look at. So
Mhm.
awesome. And then let's see what else we got. We kind of answered this already. Is there a best time to start a project like this? I mean, yeah, what are the pain points, right? Again, what's holding your business back from growing? Are you looking to be acquired by a private equity group? Are you looking to sell to a vendor of yours, looking to acquire a vendor, M&A activity, things like that? Are definitely considerations you need to take into account. But also, yeah, like with the audit season and kind of a clean cut over, like Jen mentioned, you don't necessarily need to start on a new calendar year with your, or even a new fiscal year, depending on if your fiscal's not calendar year, right? But
That's
um,
actually so much less important than it used to be. It's so much easier now to really spin it up anytime. We have ways to do all of that. I've even gone mid-month, which is not my favorite thing to do, but I can do it.
yeah, that's definitely one of those kind of myths that's carried over through the years, right? Where we used to think we had to start on our new fiscal year with the ERP, but not really the case here. So awesome. I don't see any other questions in the chat. So if anybody has any, feel free to pop any in there, or feel free to reach out to us after this. Happy to have a discussion with you, answer any questions, and just give a little bit of context, anything you might be thinking about. But we appreciate everybody's time. Thank you all for joining. We'll be reaching out to you with the assets from this call and look forward to helping you out with anything you might need to look at. So appreciate it. Jen, anything else to close us out?
I think that's it. I think I hope somebody wants to start up a new project because I enjoy it. So we have some
Awesome.
good plans. We've done this a lot, many times, so we're ready for anything. I've worked with pretty much a lot of different industries, so we're ready for anything.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Jen, and thank everybody for your time. And feel free to reach out. Have a good day.
Thank you.